Donald on the stream asks, does this imply they don't believe in Lance or that Jimmy's market didn't pan out? Well, we can say definitively that we know that it means Jimmy's market didn't pan out.
That's a fact.
But the question that Donald raises, is also a question everyone will be asking. Is this also reflective of the way they feel about Trey Lance? Does it mean they have reservations about Trey?
Well, whenever Kyle and John have to talk, and I would guess it's either tomorrow or the next day, they will be talking in the near future. They are going to shoot that down immediately, right? That'll be one of the first questions they get, and you and I verbatim could write out their answer. They are going to adamantly deny this is any reflection of their faith, belief, or what they've seen in their young quarterback from the North Dakota State Bisons, right? Is that a 100% lock?
It is.
They're going to put.
Yep.
That's coming. Now, I judge you on your actions, not your words when it comes to coaches, and I would argue in life, but definitely with football coaches, because they often say one thing and do another. I would say that they would have to be on the table, because you'd go, well, of course you want the best backup quarterbacks. Well, part of it also is the history of the NFL is just putting your chips in the middle of the table on Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and just going with it. And he goes, well, what if they can stay healthy? Well, that's part of the sport, right? You go all in on Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Like, if they ever got hurt, those teams are screwed. We once saw it with a Peyton Manning team, led them to Andrew Luck. It's the shittiest part about the sport. You got no backup plan, usually. And they might just say, this is just a very unique opportunity. But I would say it has to have some reflection. If you thought this kid was going to be everything that you would trade, anytime you trade your pick, which is the 12th pick, and two other ones, and I think a 3, your expectation for that player is to be an elite player, right? Maybe not the number 1 on the top 100, but potentially have the ability to crack the top 20 some year, right? I mean, your expectation. And I would say this year, so far, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of, like, I understand if I was them sitting objectively, even though they're not objective, they're so close, but you have to balance being the GM or the head coach and also being able to take a step back, that you would be, I wouldn't bet my family's lives on this player. I like him. I'm excited to see where we're going, but as we're sitting here on August 29, 2022 with Trey Lance, reservation would probably be the wrong word, but I would say that they could not feel 100% confident this is going to be a rocket ship.
If you put a safety net under a tightrope, then you know that you might use the safety net. Doesn't mean you will fall, but the safety net is there. And Jimmy Garoppolo's presence is the safety net, right? It doesn't. Now, they might argue this is just too good a value on the chance that Trey Lance gets hurt, because what they've been doing this whole time with Jimmy is banking on somebody to get hurt, banking on somebody else's quarterback to get hurt. And now they're protecting themselves against their quarterback getting hurt.
And they tell you these two guys know each other and are already friends, right? They already have a relationship.
Yes. I mean, they could have made Jimmy the backup the whole time, right? They could have afforded to do that, to have just said, Jimmy Garoppolo is our backup. Trey Lance is now our starter. We're not trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. We believe in Trey Lance. And, but despite it, we want some insurance, and Jimmy's going to be his backup.
You're saying to pay him the $25 million or whatever?
Yeah, they could have done that, right? That's crazy. We wouldn't have supported that, but they could have done it. And I think that would have definitely been an action that showed a little less belief in Trey than what they did. What they did was they said, Trey's our starter. We'll go with Purdy or Sudfeld. And we are actively Jimmy is looking for trades. We're looking for trades. We've got we hired some headhunters. They're looking for trades. Indeed.com/ham. Submit your trade offers.
You know who's the most rattled by this news? Sudfeld or Purdy? Both those two guys right now are like, am I not making the 53-man roster?
One of them isn't. Both of them, man. At this point, why would either of them make? Actually, neither one of them is making the 53.
Sudfeld because of money, and maybe Brock because they like him. But yeah, I mean,
why are you carrying 3 quarterbacks if one of them's Jimmy? I don't know, man.
You're expecting them both to get cut?
Well, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe one of them you keep around. But
those two guys' lives got rattled right now.
Did you get them both on practice squad and have them just face off every week in some epic practice squad battles?
One of them's not going to be around. They did draft Purdy, would be my only thing. Not that that matters, but
All right. Well, maybe another one of them is around. I do think while I agree with your action, judge on action. Their action for the last several months was Jimmy is off on the side. He is not a part of this team really, and we are doing everything we can for Trey Lance to be our quarterback.
But they kept him around. Like their action was enough where it wasn't like I think a lot of teams, even in that situation, would have said, "You do this somewhere else."
Yeah,
allowing him on the field. Again, I've said this over and over, is the most normal because it didn't feel that weird, but ultimately for the league, the most normal, crazy thing I've ever witnessed on an NFL field. But it happened every day, so you kind of became numb to it. It was not normal, guy.
I agree, but this is two sides of the fence, right? Because on one hand, what you just described is true. They kept him around in the building working out. On the other hand, he went to no practice. He went to no meetings, got no practice reps, was not around with the team when it came to it. Brian Greasy's never met him. I mean, maybe met him, but hasn't really coached him.
I had scouts on the Niners telling me they just had lunch. Like Jimmy's just having lunch in the cafeteria.
So those actions told us they were really not doing anything with any intention of him being on the team. Right. That they did believe
they gave him the option. Remember, he was allowed to come to quarterback meetings and stuff. If he wanted to, he said no, which I don't totally blame him. Like in his mind, you guys are going to get rid of me either through trade or release. This is the beginning of training camp. I'll just do my side thing, but I'm not going to come to the meetings. Now, granted, he already knows the offense, so they're just reinstalling everything. But you could say the same thing about George Kittle, Trent Williams, and Kyle Juszczyk, right? They still got to go to the meetings. Now, you don't get paid in football, right? It's not like Jimmy's salary. It's not like they had been paying him a premium that period of time. So it's like, let's just wait to see if something happens. It's pretty crazy that it speaks to Kyle and John that they kept a relationship cordial. Maybe it's like Belichick wouldn't have this in the bag.
They handled the Debo thing too, although this is a pretty insane, to your point, situation. Debo, that thing happens in half the teams around the league every year.